All right, Brian, come on in.
Yeah, I want to touch.
Welcome to Politics Done Right. I am your host, Egberto Willies. This is a progressive program that will take the mystery out of politics. This is the program that will encourage you to make sure government becomes we the people. Whether you are liberal, progressive, conservative, or otherwise, you get to air your point of view. We are an independent media outlet that, unlike mainstream media beholden to corporations, we only owe allegiance to you. Remember, you can also send me a tweet at EGBERTOWILLIES. That is at Egberto Willies. Let us engage. It is Politics Done Right.
It's off right now. All right, can you hear me now? I think we are working now, but we probably having a little bit of interesting thing. Okay, look, we lost our headset. Now we're working with one until it comes in later on today. Anyway, folks, welcome to Politics and Right. My name is Egberto Willies, your host. We are going to have a great show for you today. Anyhow. What's wrong with the sound? I am going to try to get that fixed because there is, in fact, something wrong with the sound. So what I'm doing as we are speaking is I'm working on this system. That's why the intro was so long. I am going to try to get a microphone that works, and I'm going to disable this one that does not work. So let's get rid of that. Is that any better, folks? Is that one any better? Is that one any better? Let me know. All right, he says it's getting better. Well, it's not the best because now we're using yet another microphone that isn't the best one for us to use. Anyhow, folks, we have a great program for you today. See if we can get that muted taken care of. All right, there we go. I think that took care of the problem. We can actually be heard again. Now we're fine. Not sure what's going on. But it's getting better. Look, what happens is we got a bad headset, and the bad headset created a whole cascade of problems in fixing the technical issues and coming on. You know how that goes. But the show must go on, and we will continue to make sure and come here and do what we need to do. Because if you are here, I am here. If you are here, I am here. Anyway, folks, let's get busy. I want you to listen to this call that I got today on the morning show. And the reason I want you to hear this one, it's and for the women that are listening, this is really, I want you guys to see the kind of folks that we have out there right now. So check this out, and then we'll take it on the other side. All right, Brian, come on in.
Yeah, I want to touch back on Vietnam for you.
Okay.
All right, so the American Indian that I was talking about, he was the most upset person that I ever met in the military because he was so abused. But, he was called baby killer. And again, what happened in 1973? We pretty much pulled out of Vietnam, correct?
Yeah.
It was pretty much over. Yeah. Well, what also took place in 1973? Legalized abortion.
Nixon got impeached. What else do you want? Yeah.
No. That's not the point. Roe v. Wade, correct? Legalized abortion. Now, who called who baby killers?
Okay. I don't know what you're trying to say here, Brian, but let's be clear here, okay?
I'll answer that. I'll answer that question for you.
Well,
The American military was called baby killers, but yet it was legalized abortion. Women killed babies, correct?
Okay. Well, no,
That's Hollywood for you.
that is not correct at all, my friend. And let me tell you something.
Well,
Brian can have a religious belief that an unborn child is a human being. You can believe that, and you can live that if you'd like to. But as a man, you as a man has no right to tell a woman who a fetus is dependent on her body that what she must do with her body. Again, you may not believe that, and that is fine, but you have no right to tell that woman what to do with her body, and it is in no comparison with Vietnam. In fact, making that comparison with Vietnam is it's a very patriarchal, evil thing to do, my dear brother. Because I tell you what, opening up, having a group of old Vietnam people go into a village and machine gun that village, man, woman, and child. That is what we were talking about. Do not try to equate that, my dear brother, with what women are doing. It destroys one's credibility to try to equate those two. And notice I'm a bit forceful in my voice because doing that to women is what you're doing there, sir. That is wrong. The reason I got a bit irate about that comparison, my brothers and my sisters, is too often people with penises think they can tell a lady what to do with her body or that they are all knowing. I'm sorry. That doesn't compute here, my dear brothers and sisters. You can have your religious belief and you can live your religious belief and you can live whatever your thoughts are. But once you start to impose it onto others, that is where it ends. I've always given you the time to express yourself. But equating Vietnam and hold on, sir, I made you speak, and now I will speak, sir. Equating that to what women, with women having abortions is terrible. Brian, I have 2 more calls. We can finish this tomorrow.
We'd spend a lot of time deconstructing the news, trying to parse it into a form that everybody...
Now, when I got that call, I was completely irate. And the reason why, it's because a lot of times when the right wing do things, they try to create these examples, right? They try to create a ridiculous example and then equate it with the thing that they want to change. In other words, they want to be able to control a woman's body to stop her from being able to do whatever she wants with her body. So what they're going to do then is try to equate something that they know progressives and others have considered very evil. And then in the process, they try to go ahead and say, you see, that's what women are doing. So what he did is he condemned an entire half of the world by saying, if this is what they support, they should not have complained about what these killers did in Vietnam, which is not even the case. These guys, I don't know if people understood the inhumanity that occurred in Vietnam during that war. Napalming entire villages of innocent children, women, etc. Going into a village and simply gunning them down for sport. These are the kinds of things that happened in Vietnam. There's no question about it, right? And that is the reason why a lot of the folks who got back from Vietnam, war is inhumane. And a war without any compass is even more inhumane. And that is what occurred in Vietnam. We don't need to worry about equating the two things at all. Apples and grapes, as Bridge would say. What the hell? Glad you ended that call with him, Egberto. Absolutely so. I wasn't going to allow him to continue the disparaging of women. Anyhow, Paul Fleming is in the... I don't think I saluted all my people. Bridge MCP is in the house. AVQ is in the house. Meaning Michael Rudnin. We also have Paul Fleming from Atlanta, Georgia. May Wood from California. We also have Melanie Keelan from Barcelona, Spain. We have our one and only, let's see who else is in the house. Oops, let me start from the top now. Because, it's been a crazy start, so bear with me. Lee Grant is also in the house. The beautiful Yvette Avery Herod is in the house. Para ver quién más está aquí, si le he olvidado. And if I forgot you, forgive me, but I will get back to you. Paul Fleming says Fox News blames inflation on Biden. The Fed blames workers for getting paid too much. Show of hands, who here is paid too much? But one of the biggest drivers is corporations using inflation as an excuse to jack up prices far beyond their costs, hence their recent record profits. To control inflation, we must take aim at corporate profits, not working people. And that is what the big problem is now with the UAW and the media. Enough of the media are not telling the true story. And that's why we are here, and that's why you have to be out there promoting the real story as well. And what is the real story? The real story is there really isn't any reason for the inflation that Americans are experiencing at this point in time. There is no reason. The increase in prices of oil, there is no reason. We have a glut of oil. So we have such a glut of oil that Saudi Arabia has constantly been cutting back and cutting back and cutting back so that they can falsely create a scarcity to force you to pay more money. It is time for us to get around that, right? It is time for us to eliminate that. It is that simple. We are self-sufficient in oil. The United States government has the right to say, you know what we're going to do immediately? We are going to freeze the market. Given that we are energy self-sufficient, we can ensure prices based on supply and demand, and not false supply and demand created by false shortages. This last period again, we had an increase in gasoline prices again, which caused inflation to go up a little bit, not by much, a little bit. Core inflation stayed under was around 4%, right? But here's the deal. As Brother Paul Fleming said, all the inflation now, not the ones from when it was 10%. When it was 10%, only half of that was caused by the disruption problems of COVID, etc. But the inflation today, all of it is caused by corporate greed. I repeat, absolutely all of it is caused by corporate greed. And at the same time, they're trying to offset that to having to pay people more money for the inflation that they've created. We can't keep in that domain, folks. We cannot keep in that domain. All right, repeating, let's go ahead and continue with some of what we have here. We have San Francisco Giants co-owner and GOP mega donor Charles Johnson saw $38 million in tax breaks in just 5 years by donating his Bay Area mansion to his own foundation and claiming it would be open to the public 5 days a week. In fact, the building is only open once a week. On the weeks it's actually open for 2 hours guided tours given to a small number of winners of tickets lottery. You see the crazy things that rich people do to get away from taxes? It's evil. It's evil. Okay. Let's see. Egberto has the right idea. Don't pass laws for body parts you don't have. Exactly right. I can live with that. Let's see. Paul Fleming also says, what does it tell you about our priorities when Congress passes a bigger military budget every year, but lets the expanded child tax credit expire after it lifted millions of children out of poverty? That's America. That is America. What else have we got here? Bridge, Lee Grant says, we are a binary species. We all get a say and have a responsibility in the continuation of the species. Again, you have no control over a woman's body, period. What are you going to do? If a woman doesn't want to procreate with you, are you going to take her involuntarily? I don't think so. So no, you don't have some innate right of procreation. You have to make a deal to procreate. If you want to procreate, two of you that have different organ parts that can procreate have to decide to get together. But if both of you don't, procreation ends. You don't have the right to determine, I want to procreate whether she wants to or not. You don't get that right. Michael Rudnin says, Paul, Republicans have two worthwhile talking points, crime and inflation, and they do nothing about either except bitch and moan, then pass blame. Republicans also use their culture war nonsense whenever outrage of the day they dream up as distraction for the fact that they're bad for the nation. But he says, Lee, not with women's body. Would you like a forced vasectomy? Thank you. That's a good example. Egberto Willis, by the way, it is Yvette Avery's birthday today. Shout out. Not only a shout out, we got to sing for her. Happy birthday to Yvette. Happy birthday to our great Yvette. Happy birthday to Yvette. Happy birthday to you. Hey, girl, what are you, about 25 years old now? Anyway, look, just thank you for being here, Yvette. You know you are our PDR Posse lady of the day. All right, let's continue. Michael Rudden says, Lee Grant, not everyone needs to procreate. There's more than enough people already. We, as a species, likely to peak around 11 billion humans around turn of the century, providing there's no civilization collapse that causes a population crash beforehand. I have a feeling there will be a population crash before we get to 11 billion. I mean, if COVID is an example of what can happen, even though COVID was on the order of just a few million, I think we are in for a lot worse, not only of natural disasters like floods, hurricanes, terremotos, earthquakes, but a lot more. Michael Rudnin, Lee Grant, not everyone needs to procreate. There's more than it. I read that one already. Eric Hayes says, financial literacy 101 tip. Credit card companies are not these generous entities wanting to give you points and airline miles because they're just so kind. No, they do that because they make a ton of money off of people who don't or can't pay their bills and have to pay interest. It's a game I just don't want to play. So have a debit card and use it to buy groceries, get gas, travel all the things. I realize that's not normal, but remember, normal is broke in America today. Change your money mindset. No, look, it's good for people to be able to change your mindset. I agree. But I mean, there's something that you ought to realize, my friend. Not everybody has that option that you have to be self-sufficient using your debit card. And that's where we talk about being empathetic. You have to be empathetic and be able to say, you know what? Not everybody can afford what I can afford. And it will take me time to get there. Just saying, go use a debit card or telling people what to do financially is one of the most unempathetic things to do. You have to make sure that others have the means by which to do it. And many simply don't. All right. Paul Fleming says, since pro-impeachment Republicans are literally recycling a totally false narrative of Vice President Biden going after the Ukrainian prosecutor to help Burisma and Hunter, a reminder that 3 GOP senators supported him doing so, including MAGA Senator Ron Johnson. All right, Eric Hayes says, default excuses, corporations, greed, and attack on democracy. It's not an excuse, it's a fact. There's a difference between facts and excuses. All right, someone said, Giants, my team got destroyed this Sunday. I feel for you, sir. Eric Hayes says, one CEO gone by his own ethical standards. Also had a famous Houston Rocket player gone basis his ethical standards. Weird how life takes care of itself when people can't behave and maintain high expectations. I don't know what that is all about. Let's see. BP CEO resigns amid probe into relationship with colleagues. Okay. All right. We also have, you have no control over delete of Second Amendment rights. Oh, really? Clap, clap, clap for Yvette. Yes, we do. Eric Hayes doesn't understand amendments. No, he does not. But he's here, so he'll learn. Paul Fleming says, Wall Street bet big on used car loans for years. Now a crisis may be looming. The used car market hot streak may be ending as borrowers struggle to make payments. And regulators say some auto lenders are setting up consumers to fail. That's what they always do. The people that can least afford these things are the ones who pay. Bridge MCP says, Egberto, people up here, Egberto, people up here and the area are down on credit cards. They will take cash or check frown on credit as they know the banks reap profit. It would be great if we could all learn how to do that. Unfortunately, we're just not there yet. We're just not there yet. But who knows? Paul Fleming says, I hope you caught Joy Reid's show last night where it's parallel Christianity in slavery. If you have that clip, please play it. I did see that was at a Democratic meeting last night, so I missed all of Joy Reid. So I guess I better pull it up. And if I find it, I'll do that for you. I have another clip that I was supposed to process, but I'm having all kinds of technical problems, so I couldn't do that. But anyhow, I've got another video for you guys, and this one is what I did this morning at KPFT. It has to do with the strike. So let me prime that up and make sure I'm not going to get any echo from the beginning. And I think I have it cleaned up now. So here we go with that one. And please comment as we go.
As you know, the UAW is in the act of negotiating a new contract, and it's a bit upsetting because, as we mentioned, if you take the salary of a UAW worker today, it is 5% less than it was before. And I think it's important because if you look at the salary of the CEOs, their salary has gone up by 40%. You didn't hear that wrong. Their salary has gone up by 40%. So it is ironic that these guys are somehow given the impression that somehow they are not doing well. It is ironic. I wrote an article that was covered in Common Dreams that I want to cover here. It says, corporate media always side with CEOs. Sanders rips coverage of looming UAW strike. It is a totally reasonable demand that auto workers who have made enormous financial sacrifices over the past 40 years finally receive a fair share of the record-breaking profit their labor has generated. U.S. Senator Bernie Sanders on Tuesday blasted corporate media coverage of United Auto Workers contract demand and looming strike, echoing a video released last week by UAW amid negotiations with vehicle manufacturers Ford, General Motors, and Stellantis. A short list of media conglomerate control the vast majority of what the American people see, hear, and read. And that is clearly on display with the labor conflict between the union and the big three, Sanders argued in a statement, highlighting that the major reasons as to why auto workers might go out on strike have been rarely, if ever, focus of the corporate media's coverage. In the first half of 2023, and these are the numbers that I really want you to concentrate on now. This is very important. In the first half of 2023, the big three automakers made a combined $23 billion in profits, up 80% from the same period last year, Sanders noted. But if you watched any corporate news coverage of the pending strike by 150,000 auto workers, you've heard about the strike's potential negative effects on the economy and a litany of excuses why very well compensated CEO just can't make a fair deal. The chair of the Senate Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions Committee continued, you won't hear that last year, the CEO of General Motors raked in about $29 million. One person, $29 million in compensation. The CEO of Ford, one person, made $21 million. The CEO of Stellantis pocketed over $25 million. In fact, over the last 4 years, pay for those CEOs has increased by more than 40%. You won't hear that the average starting wage at the big three today is around $17 an hour, less than a number of non-union auto plants around the country, and that the top wage is $32 an hour. You won't hear that unbelievably, over the last 20 years, the average wage for American auto workers has decreased by 30%. You won't hear that after adjusting for inflation. You won't hear that auto workers at the big three are earning less today than they did 15 years ago. In other words, wage stagnation. People, if you listen to what the UAW is asking for and what they're telling you on TV, oh my God, these guys are going to hurt our economy. Oh my God, these guys are going to cause billions of dollars to be lost. Where is the concern that they're not making what they made 15 years ago? Where is the concern that the CEOs continue to rake in a whole lot of profits? Let me tell you something else that they don't tell you. They don't tell you that sales of cars went down, but the prices of cars went right straight up and the profits went straight up. In other words, I use less material because I make less cars. I increase the prices of the cars, which means I'm not only having to purchase less material, I'm making more money on the materials that I've already purchased. And all the spoils of that increase in prices, etc., inflation, didn't go to the average American worker, to the auto worker. All that inflation went to the executives. Yet they want to make the worker the villain. They want to make you feel like you are demanding something undeserved. We have to stop allowing the corporate media and all these other folks to change what reality is. We have got to stop and prevent them from changing what reality is. Of course, none of this is new. The corporate media will always side with CEOs and shareholders, he added. Despite what you might hear in the corporate media in the coming days, what the UAW is fighting for is not radical. It is the total responsible demand that auto workers who have made enormous financial sacrifices over the past 40 years finally receive a fair share of the record-breaking profit their labor has generated. And let's remember that all the profits that any corporation makes, every penny, every single penny of these profits are created on the backs of workers. So workers don't need to apologize for asking for their share of the increased profits that they're getting. They shouldn't apologize for the inflation in the cars when the inflation in the cars has nothing to do with supply and demand, but exactly what again? But with corporations saying we want to increase the margin for our shareholders and margins for our executives, but they care not. They do not care about the American worker. So, folks, when you're watching the news and you're seeing, and they make you believe like these workers are asking for something that they don't deserve, they want more money than anybody else gets. When you hear that on the news media, remember who pays for the news media. Remember whose money is paying for all of this. Let's not forget that. Again, who's on the worker side? Now, I don't believe in just complaining and complaining without solution. And the great thing about when you have UAW, you don't have to have somebody, a mouthpiece on the radio on KPFT saying, here are the solutions, because the UAW has the solution. And that is to say, if you don't give us what we're asking for, which isn't something that's undeserved, we will walk, we will strike. That is the solution. The solution is for workers, all workers, unions or otherwise, to say, you don't pay us our worth, you don't pay us for that profit that you're making, you don't pay us for that Mercedes Benz that you have, for that, I don't even know the name of expensive cars, for that Ferrari that you have. If you want to drive that, you pay us. Because remember, the only reason you can drive the Ferrari or you can drive the BMW or whatever expensive car you can drive is because we, the worker, have produced value for you. So the solution is exactly what the UAW is doing. Along with this statement calling out the corporate media, Sanders on Tuesday published an opinion piece in The Guardian urging Americans to stand in solidarity with the UAW and create an economy that works for all, not just a privileged few. The ironic thing about it, folks, the amazing thing about it, my dear brothers and sisters, is the following. If you pay the average American worker more, it creates a more vibrant economy. And the reason it creates a more vibrant economy is because people with lower means, people that are not the executives, all the extra money that they get, they pay off bills, they buy more stuff, they have more vacations. So more things happen and the wealth is spread around more evenly, right? In other words, if that CEO doesn't make $21 million, but instead makes $1 million, which is more than he's worth, instead of making, what has that CEO done? I repeat, what has that CEO done in and above the worker who's building that car for him to make $21 million when that other person is making $60,000? What's the point? Or what gives him the authority? What gives him the worth to make $21 million? That's the question every American worker should be asking. Why are executives, those people who direct me, but I create the labor, I create the product, I create the intellect. Why should they make in the order of millions and I'm making $60,000 and trying to be able to afford my health insurance and trying to be able to afford all these things while he or she makes $21 million for doing very, very little things? That's how, and I don't want to hear, well, that's how things have always been. What I want to hear is exactly what the UAW is doing. This is what we demand.
This is what we demand, and that is I want the UAW to go out there and fight and say absolutely no. What we want is that same 40% increase. Well, they're only asking for 36, but we want that 40% increase that the same CEOs got. That is what we should have, the same thing. All right, Bridge MCP, there it is on the screen for you. Rudy Giuliani said that he didn't see Hillary Clinton doing anything out there for the, go ahead and refresh your screen. The blurriness will go away. The blurriness will go away. Just refresh your YouTube screen. Now, Rudy Giuliani said, "Oh my God, we didn't see that guy." Well, that's not true, right? There is a picture of Hillary Clinton walking the streets of New York during the 9/11 attack on us, right? All right, Brija, let's see. It did. It did it. TY, yeah, there you go. What happens is depending on your throughput, sometimes YouTube goes ahead and readjusts. All right, two thoughts. Rudy is a liar. That's from this is from Rudnin. Rudy is a liar. When politicians visit disaster zones, they require protective details. Manpower better used helping people affected. No, Ruben, he said that because he's going senile. That's the excuse we're supposed to use for Rudy. That's the one we're supposed to use. Hey, Bruce Potter came into the house. He's late, but he's here. Great to see you here, brother Bruce. Let's see. And thanks for pointing to Bernie Sanders' article. Hey, E2247, which Howard Zinn documentary are you talking about? I would love to hear about that. So put it put a link or something in the feed for me, Senor E2247. That should be a good documentary. He's the guy who wrote The Real American History. All right, Bridge MCP says, Eric, our ruling and American Crossroads web ad claim. The Clintons Foundation took millions from foreign governments, including up to $5 million from the United Arab Emirates and up to $25 million from Saudi Arabia. As we noted, it doesn't violate campaign rules for a nonprofit philanthropy to accept donations from foreign governments. Over the years, the Clinton Foundation has taken millions of dollars from foreign governments. This includes between 1 to 5 million from the United Arab Emirates and 10 million to 25 from the Saudi Arabia. At least a portion of those donations come in 2014 after Clinton left the State Department and formally joined the family's foundation that it had previously been her husband's name. It was in her husband's name alone. So that's the answer. All right, folks, what else have we got here? I only had those two videos because, again, We had technical difficulties. So if you want to continue what we're doing, let's see what else you got. I don't want to go ahead and just be the only talker. So if you want to call, if you want to talk, if you want to tell me something else in the chat, I'll be more than happy to read that. So let's get busy and get people's involvement. People's involvement. I am waiting for people's involvement as I keep what's on the screen, showing that Hillary Clinton was in fact there on September 11, walking right next to Mayor Giuliani, who said on Wednesday that he didn't see her on 9/11, which was what again? A lie. Paul Fleming says, breaking. After Joe Manchin voted against the child tax credit, child poverty increased from 5.2% to 12.4%. Congressman Jamal Bowman torched him. Your state has one of the highest child poverty rates in the country, Bowman wrote. Then it got really good. Great jobs. And I mean that with sarcasm and incandescent range. Then Bowman then said Democrats could win big if they just worked together. And that is true. E2247 says, use the search on YouTube video. My computer is busted. It takes 6 weeks to fix. Oh my God. Sorry to hear about your computer. Anyway, yeah, that is so true. Let's see. Somebody sent me something here that seems to be important. Let's see what it is. Great. All right. Anyway, folks, next subject is what? Next subject, you're going to tell me what the next subject is. In 2012, Mitt Romney was a severely conservative Republican running on self-deportation proposal and jokes about his birth certificate. In 2023, he's a retiring senator whose name is effectively used as an epithet to the Republican circles. Wow. Or I might get her back sooner. Well, I hope you get your computer back quicker than that, sir. Melanie Keelan says, sorry about that. We fixed mine with a hair dryer. You fixed what, a computer with a hair dryer? How did you do that? I'm curious about that, Melanie. How could you possibly fix a computer with a hair dryer? Let's see what else we got here. I have nothing else here. Clinton Foundation, WikiLeaks emails. You know, it's funny because you guys are always going, our right-wing proteges are always going about things that are happening with Hillary Clinton. It never seems to pan out. Otherwise, she would be in jail, right? Hair dryer? Yeah, hair dryer. All right, folks. It looks like we are going to have a short show today, unless more people tell me some things that they want me to talk about right now. Like I said, we have technical difficulties that I will spend the time to finish up to make sure we have a longer, more productive show tomorrow. So I'm going to wait 30 seconds for you to tell me what else you want me to address this afternoon before I call it early for today to go ahead and get all these fixes made. Bruce Pollard says, get a $50 webcam from Walmart. It's not the cam problem. It's the sound problem. Melanie Keelan says an HP. Let's see, Bridge. I have all kinds of cams. This one here is a pretty high quality cam that we're looking at here. If you get blurry, it's probably a speed issue. Bridge MCP says no jail time. Face up to Trump's and his cult's charges. Stop with Hunter Biden and Hillary. I really wonder sometime about some of our right-wing proteges here, right? That they don't see the silliness of trying to equate what others do with how bad Trump was. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Maybe I will sometime, but right now I just don't get it. Anyway, folks, next subject. I'm still listening to your chats. Bruce says, that was for the guy whose PC is broke. I guess one option is a Chromebook. The Chromebook is not bad. The newer Chromebooks are pretty darn good. I've seen some of them, and it's pretty darn good. So I don't know. Let's see what else we got here. Okay, I don't see anything else. Come on, folks. I'm about to close her down, but I want to make sure that I don't close her down before you guys are finished telling me what you want to tell me. So let me hear it. Shakula, hairstylist says, Ken Paxton's impeachment. Okay, let's talk Ken Paxton impeachment. I have a few people on the inside And even those on the inside do not believe, or not do not believe, haven't got a clue if Ken Paxton is going to be found guilty in the Senate. They thought they had another 4 votes, but now some of them may be iffy. So we'll see. Just a little bit of inside information. I'm from Chicago. Explain like, you're from Chicago, Shakula. You know, I didn't know you're from Chicago. Thank you for telling me. Now, forever, I will know Shakula hairstylist is from Chicago. Here's the deal with Paxton. Paxton is our Attorney General of Texas. He has been under investigation for over 8 years, and he still gets reelected in Texas. You know, Republicans don't have a problem electing Republican criminals. Now, he has has committed stock fraud and all these kinds of things, right? So he's constantly getting he does what Trump does. He constantly get his trial delayed. Well, he couldn't get this one delayed because he went to the legislature and say, I lost the lawsuit, and I don't remember exactly what the lawsuit was about, but he lost the lawsuit for $3 million. And he wanted the state legislature to pass the $3 million to pay for his lawsuit. That opened an investigation because they were like, why are the taxpayers going to pay for your stuff? So what they did is they opened an investigation, and the rot that came out of there from him having an affair and or likely getting blackmailed for the affair, and also helping out a crooked real estate person, all these things came out. So our very super majority congressional part of our legislature, they went ahead and impeached him. Mostly Republicans impeached him. And now he's in trial in the Senate in Texas. All right? Now, the things that are coming out, it's hard to believe. Okay, the lawsuit was for firing whistleblowers. Thank you for telling me that, Bruce. I forgot about that. You know, so now he's on trial in the Senate, and the Senate is run by Dan Patrick, who's a lieutenant general in Texas. And it seems like a lot of money is flowing from Paxton's people into the coffers of Paxton. I mean, not Paxton, of our lieutenant general. I don't know what's going to happen because he can twist a lot of hands. So we'll see, twist a lot of arms. We'll see what happens. Okay, we'll come to 200 current words. All right, let's see what else we got here. So that is the story behind Ken Paxton, and it's hard to believe, but it's not much different than the Trump story. Trump is a criminal, and he's been a criminal for decades, but he still made it in. Michael Rudnick has a one of 3 here that says, 1, Republicans don't give a damn about corruption among their own ranks. 2 of 3, whatever they got on Paxton is either so severe that Republicans can't ignore it anymore, or 3 of 3, it's something personal between Paxton and one or more of other Republicans in power or their donors. And that's a possibility, or he's probably, gone too little. What can I say? Shakula hairstylist says, no, this is standard corruption. What do we have jails for? Not for Republicans. They don't put themselves in jails rarely. So we don't know. Anyhow, so that's where we're at. Anything else, folks, before we call it in? I love this. The last 20 minutes, I'm just listening to what you guys are saying and answering whatever you come out with. What else have we got? Did I miss any of them? Paxton, okay, Eric Hayes says, Paxton has won lots of judgments against the current administration in behalf of Texas. So now the impeachment was his turn. Kind of like Washington wants to remain in Texas rules. Oh my God, I can't believe you actually believe that. All right, there's a call coming in, but I'm not sure if this is a real call or not. Is this a real call? I think you need to call back. I clicked the wrong button. So call back if you were calling our line here. I think I clicked the wrong button. Anyhow. What else have we got here? Jails are for people who can't pay bail, so the outsourcer can make money running the jail. I like that one, Bruce. Let's see. Paul Fleming says, breaking. New York City's pension funds have sued the Fox Corporation and its board, accusing the company of neglecting its duty to shareholders by opening up itself up to defamation lawsuits from the persistent broadcasting 2020 election lies. That's a good one. That is a good one. I like that one. And that can actually succeed. All right, folks, please remember to support the program. Support the program by going to politicsdoneright.com/support. politicsdoneright.com/support. This was a very tenuous program today, my brothers and my sisters. Had a lot of technical problems to get started. My new headset is supposed to be delivered in the next few hours. I hope to have it and I hope to test everything and clean everything up tonight so that we don't have as tenuous a program as we had today. I am sorry for the technical difficulties, but it happens every so often in broadcasting. So what can I say? We do our best to try to do what we have to do to work. Anyway, politicsdoneright.com/ what again? Why am I not getting it in there? politicsdoneright.com, and it seems like I'm not able to stuff my stuff in there for some reason. There we go. Bam. Okay, it seems like we're having technical problems even with the keyboard. Can you believe that? Even with the keyboard. Come on, let's see. All right, it seems like we're still having problems, so I have to do it the old-fashioned way. So please support us at politicsdoneright.com/support, or please get our newsletter. It's not just a takeaway. The newsletter gives you the full ability to read all our books and anything that I have written already or will write in the future. You will get access to it at the newsletter. And here is the newsletter, politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. Bruce says, give Egberto some money so he can be the talk person and hire Tucker as the headliner. Bruce, that's a good one. That is a good one, Bruce. So that I can go hire Tucker as the headliner. I like that, Bruce. You must be having a great day. Anyway, my brother Bruce, hey, next time I'm heading out to KPFT for a quick visit. Got to go visit the guys sometime in the morning. Let me know which morning. Let me know if you'll be interested in getting your butt up early and coming into this, not my studio here, but the studio at KPFT. I'll be doing that in the next month or so. So anyhow, I think that's about the end of our program today. Sorry for the kind of an iffy program, but we had a lot of technical difficulties. My name is Egberto Willies. This is Politics Done Right. And you guys know how I end this baby. I am what? Out.